All right, so everyone's making their videos and their posts about Charlie Kirk, and I just wanted to make a video as well. I wasn't like a super big follower of his. I knew who he was, I'd seen his stuff, and I agree with a lot of what he said. I really liked how he was very humble in his answers, always very kind. It takes, I think, a really strong and godly person to respond to criticism in always a very nice way. Just recently, probably like a month ago, me and my sister were laughing at one of his videos because he was being interviewed and they asked, should a man pay on the first date? And he was like, what kind of beta male is letting a woman pay on the first date or split the check? And the guy who was interviewing him was like, I split the check a lot. And he was still so kind. He's like, listen, you guys are awesome, but I can't even imagine. He's like, I'll go into debt. I will go scrub dishes in the back. I'm not letting a woman pay for dinner if I asked her out. And I just thought that was super sweet. And so anyways, just like everyone else, this is really shaking me up. I'm feeling a lot of things. I'm contemplating and thinking about a lot of things. And one thing that's been on my mind a lot today is just like fear. Me and my son went down to Seattle a couple days ago, went to the Mariners game, and we were taking the light rail, and I was just looking around like, is someone going to hurt us? Like, is something crazy going to happen? You just never know. And so just thinking that there are really people out there who are willing to kill someone in public, knowing that most likely means they're going to go to prison for the rest of their life. So they're willingly giving up their life to take your life. And that's pretty scary. And that's just something to think about. And so the thing I wanted to talk about is I'm scared to die, yes, but I'm not scared of what happens when I die. The act of death, no one wants to go through that. Is it going to be painful? Am I going to leave my family too soon? Is someone else going to be in control of when I go in a violent way? That's scary. But I'm not scared of what's going to happen when I die. Because I've met the Lord. I know God. I believe he's real. I love his word. I've experienced his presence in a very, very real way. And so what I wish would come from this is that every single person in the world would give their lives to Jesus. We would all get along. We would all love each other and live out the rest of our very, very, very short lives for Jesus. And I'm seeing a lot of that happening, and I'm super excited about it. But what I want to kind of propose is maybe a little bit more realistic. If you're someone who isn't religious, doesn't think about God, doesn't care, you're just living your life kind of seeing what you can get out of this life and hoping for a good one, could you tonight maybe take 5 minutes and just think, is there a God? I want to read you my favorite verse, and it's Romans 1:20, and it says, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. And what that means is we do not have an excuse when we die and stand before God, which we all will do. Just think for a minute. I think the miracles of life are lost on us sometimes. Think about how babies are made, right? A man and a woman coming together to create a life, to create a family that grows inside the mother. And then when I always think this is really cool. When the baby comes out, our bodies naturally make food for that baby. And then even cooler, that baby naturally knows how to breastfeed. No one can teach that baby how to drink. They already have that God-given instinct of how to breastfeed. And I just think that's beautiful. And there's so many other things you can get into if you just sit and think about everything in our bodies from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet. I was looking at my foot the other day and thinking, how is this little thing able to hold up my entire body? Because of, I don't know what the word is, but just like the way God made our bodies so that everything stacks perfectly on top of each other, like the way he engineered it so that we can stand up, so that we can walk forward, the way our muscles work, the way our lungs work, the way our brains work, the way he gave us ability to reason and think and create, the way he gave us food, the way he gave us air, the way he gave us water. Like, I could go on and on and on about the way that creation points to God, and it's unbelievable. But I think sometimes we get so busy and we don't stop and think. We're just trying to get through the day, and then one day, bam, like your life is over. And I think we need to stop and think about that. And so if you stop and think about that, and you come to the very obvious conclusion that someone did make us and someone did put us here, then we have to think, what does that God expect from me? And what I believe and what the Bible says is that God expects perfection, which impossible, right? Obviously, no one on this world is perfect, but it talks in the Old Testament about like the glory of God and his holiness. And when the priests would go into the Holy of Holies, which is where God's presence resided, they would have to have a rope put around them in case they had not like repented of every single sin. They would drop dead in his presence. And that seems crazy, but when you think about the God that I just talked about, that created every single thing in an instant, that made it so we can stand up and talk and breathe, and our hearts and everything inside of us works without us even having to do anything, could he be anything else than completely perfect? He couldn't. He's completely perfect. He's completely holy. But from the very beginning, it says he made a way for us to get to heaven, which is Jesus. So I'm just so grateful that even though this is such a tragedy, God's doing good from it. And so I'm just praying that you will take 5 minutes tonight, think about God, talk to God, ask him if he's real, ask him what do you expect from me and what do you want from my life. I really, really pray. I pray for every single person I know. I care about every single person I know, loving God and coming to Jesus. And so if you're watching this and you watched this far, thank you so much. God bless you. And if you want to start coming to church, please send me a message. I go to Faith and Victory. It's in Auburn on A Street. We meet at Sundays at 9 and 11 and Wednesdays at 7. Okay, I love you guys.